Hello, guys! Hope you're doing well. I'm Melanie. If you enjoy a good Reddit story, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I won't stop you. Right then, let's crack on with our first story of the day. The first story comes from Worried Prize 5387 in the Relationship Advice subreddit. And it says, my girlfriend, 21 female, and my brother, 20 male, are soulmates. My girlfriend, a 21-year-old female, and I, a 21-year-old male, have been dating for about 7 months now. We both used to work at the same restaurant, and I asked her out. I've always felt like we were very different people, but that's what I liked about our relationship. I feel like I'm always learning something by being around her and try my best to indulge in her interests. 3 months ago, I introduced her to my family, and they all seemed to like her, especially my brother, a 20-year-old male. I didn't really think much of it and was happy to see them get along since I'm very close to my brother. But I've realized over time that they just fit way better with each other. They both have the same interests in movies, books, music, sports, foods, you name it. Although my girlfriend was hesitant at first about it, I encouraged her to go for things along with my brother if it wasn't something I was really into. And they both had a great time. And I know just having the same hobbies sounds trivial, but it's also their personalities. They're both very free-spirited and adventurous, and I can't help but notice that they look so much happier with each other than with me. Sometimes I feel really out of place around them, as if I'm not supposed to be there. But I swear this is not out of jealousy. I just genuinely think they're better for each other. I love both of them, and if this is what makes them happy, then I'd rather they date each other and let me move out of their way. I'm not exactly sure how to execute this or talk about this with either of them, though. How do I go about setting them up? Oh dear, this is an emotional roller coaster waiting to crash, isn't it? I mean, here we are, caught in a storyline that feels like it's right out of a high-drama television episode. On one hand, I can absolutely commend the maturity it takes to realize when a relationship may be more beneficial to someone else. But on the other, are we serious right now? Setting your girlfriend up with your brother? Now that's a plot twist. And here's where I lose it. The act of encouraging them to bond feels like cultivating the seeds of chaos in your own love life. It's absurd how comfortable you are with the idea of them being a better fit. Now that I think about it, while it's noble, it's painfully surreal to imagine orchestrating such an affair in reality. It's as if you've become a spectator in your own romantic movie, watching from the sidelines with popcorn in hand. And for crying out loud, if OP goes through with this, he deserves a bloody medal for handling heartbreak with grace. What's your take on this scenario, folks? Someone says, your brother shaped you as well. You apparently connect well with people like him, and like your girlfriend. So it's no wonder she's very much into you and possibly would be less into your brother than you think. Scary Butterscotch 474 says, I think that you are jumping ahead of yourself. Maybe you are attracted to your girlfriend because she is so similar to your brother. Also, your girlfriend can vibe with your brother, but not want to date him. I have a few male friends who spark my husband's jealousy because I vibe with them more than I vibe with my husband. As in, the friends and I are so similar. However, I would never date these male friends because each of them has deal breakers for me. I still have crazy fun with them, though. It's the kind of situation where I have heaps of fun with them until I spend a little too much time with them, and then, as I really get to know them, I find the deal breaker. I might not get crazy with my husband, but I love him in a different way, and he has no deal breakers for me. My advice is to let your girlfriend get to know your brother well before you have any kind of conversation with her about this. Also, I want you to know that you are a fantastic partner for caring about your girlfriend's happiness so much. It might actually end up being the reason why your girlfriend loves you best. Fiaran says, kudos on your generous heart. Before you try to hand them to each other, take some time to feel the vibes and sound them out. You may be surprised. They may match, but that might make them better besties than lovers. When it comes to couples, while having things in common is good, the best couples bring different strengths and weaknesses and balance each other out. They are much better together, in a 1 + 1 is greater than 2 kind of way. The requirement is that they are not too much the same, as it means weaknesses squared, not just strengths. Extroversion and introversion, planners and spontaneous types, they balance each other. The fundamentals are compatible, core values and a life path foundation with an attraction, chemistry, and liking for each other. If that is there for you too, don't worry about your brother's new bestie. Zayaxar says, you need to address this with both of them, but not with them together and not in an, I think you should date each other manner. Talk to them individually. Tell them how they're getting along so well is making you feel like you're a third wheel in their relationship, that you feel like they're a better match than you are with her, and that they seem happier together than when they're with you. Ask them flat out if there's any attraction between them. Tell them that if there is, you won't be mad about it, but that you don't want to stay in a relationship with someone who obviously would prefer to be with your brother. If they genuinely want to be together, it won't bother you. Again, don't phrase it in an, I think you two should date each other way, but rather frame it in a, if you two actually want to be together, just let me know and I'll get out of the way sort of manner. Worldliness Level says, this post is equal parts selfless and heartbreaking. I really respect your maturity and self-awareness, but I think you're being too quick to remove yourself from your own relationship. You say they are soulmates, but your girlfriend chose you, not him. That matters. Shared interests aren't everything. Chemistry, emotional connection, and commitment also play huge roles. You're viewing their bond through a lens of comparison rather than focusing on what you two have built. Instead of trying to set them up, maybe have a vulnerable, honest conversation with your girlfriend. Tell her how you've been feeling and ask how she feels about your relationship. You might be surprised. She might be with you because you bring something to her bond with your brother that doesn't. And please stop facilitating their time together like that. It's blurring boundaries and making things messier than they need to be. If things are meant to shift, they will, without you sacrificing yourself for it. Ultimately, don't make yourself a martyr. Love should be mutual. Don't give yours away without making sure it's still being returned. Months later, the OP returns with an update, sharing what has transpired since he last expressed his concerns about his girlfriend and brother's connection. He says, first of all, thank you to everyone who wrote nice, encouraging things and advice in my last post. I really appreciate it. I kind of got rid of this account after the post got too many views, but then randomly opened it yesterday to several messages about it being covered by Smosh. I'm a huge fan of them, by the way, so this was very surprising. Anyway, I'll cut to the chase. After writing that post, I did a lot of introspection and self-reflection. I think a lot of people caught this, but I do indeed suffer from low self-esteem and struggle with low confidence. I didn't want to acknowledge it, but it did get in the way of my relationships often. I'm a brutally honest man, and that is exactly what I did. I was very honest about all of this to my girlfriend. I didn't tell her that I thought my brother and she were soulmates, but I told her that sometimes I feel like I can't directly connect with her because we're so different. And what she said really changed my perspective on our relationship. She said that she loves that I'm different and compliment her in a way that completes her. She also expressed that she would want to get more involved in my hobbies. So the past few months, we've spent time doing random things together that we individually enjoy. And it's turned out great for us. She makes me really happy, and I try my best to make her life better too. I've also met her family now, and they're all lovely people as well. We still do things together with my brother, and it's also a good time. I think at the end of the day, the root of all of this was indeed my insecurity. It really wasn't about my brother because I think I would have been insecure if it was a friend or really anyone else. Besides, it is true that I enjoy my brother's company because of the kind of person he is. So it has made sense for me to be with someone who is similar. It attributes more to the fact that she fits really well in my life. I've also come to realize that I was looking at this from a very trivial perspective. My girlfriend is so much more than her hobbies and interests, and there are so many other things about her that actually set her apart from other people in my life. Thanks again, everyone, for your advice. Apparently, I need to end this post with a question. Someone says, so glad you talked with your girlfriend. I'm very similar to my brother-in-law. We like the same shows, are very silly, and are the younger siblings in our respective families. I would have been driven insane if I dated him instead because we are way too alike. That's not always the best thing for a successful relationship. My husband challenges me, makes me a better person all around, but also gets me on a deep level because he grew up with someone similar to me. Someone says, thanks for the update. Oh my gosh, this is one of those rare updates where you just feel like clapping for someone's growth. Honestly, mate, what a ride. First of all, the fact that OP went from believing in a cosmic soulmate triangle to actually acknowledging his own insecurities and then tackling them head on is just massive. But really what got me is the girlfriend's response. How incredibly mature and uplifting. Instead of validating his fears, she guides him towards a better dynamic. Honestly, this is relationship gold. And let's talk about the brother relationship for a sec. It's refreshing to see someone recognizing the difference between insecurity and what's real. No drama, no explosive confrontations, just accountability and an honest effort to grow. If you're listening to this and thinking, Wow, did I just witness the birth of a more self-assured human? You're not alone. Now, how many of us could use a pinch of that insight ourselves? Comment below if this hit home. Our next story comes from Technical Housing 97 in the Am I the Asshole subreddit, and it says, "Am I the a-hole for telling my wife that I will lose respect for her if she doesn't apologize?" My wife and I have 3 kids. Thursday, my wife was helping our 9-year-old with her homework. She was supposed to fill in a chart with the times tables. That was a hectic day. Our 4-year-old got sick, and I was trying to clean him up while my wife was having trouble getting our 9-year-old to focus on what she was doing because she kept looking at me. Our 9-year-old hates math and is pretty bad at it, which annoys my wife, who is usually fantastic at math. My wife asked our daughter what 7 times 7 was. Our daughter said she didn't know. My wife kept telling her to try to think of any answer. She kept saying she didn't know. My wife was getting frustrated. Our daughter finally guessed 37. My wife said, "Close, 47 inches." Our 13-year-old then said, "No, Mom, it's 49 inches." My wife snapped at that point and told him to be quiet and go upstairs. He went into the backyard instead. She took a deep breath and then went into our room. I finished with our 4-year-old and then went outside. I tried to talk to him, but he didn't want to listen. He kept saying, "But Dad, 7 times 7 is 49 inches." I told him his mom just got frustrated and didn't mean to yell at him. He kept insisting that 7 times 7 is 49, which I am aware of, so I got nowhere. I went back inside to talk to my wife. She said she knew she shouldn't have yelled. She said she was frustrated because he was distracting her, and that's why she made the mistake. I pointed out that she made the mistake before he said anything. She started crying and asked why I was being so critical. I apologized and told her I loved her. We hugged it out, but then I asked her if she was going to go and apologize to our 13-year-old. She said no, because he shouldn't have interrupted her. She said he was rude and needed to learn not to interrupt. I told her it's not okay to tell him to be quiet. We went back and forth, and finally, I said I won't be able to respect her as much if she doesn't apologize. That really hurt her. She said she needed space. She hasn't said a word to me or him since Thursday. I know that what I said is harsh, but I can't respect someone who won't apologize when they make a mistake. Am I the asshole? My sister says I am because I'm not being supportive, and our 13-year-old is a lot. Update. My wife got up before our alarm and started cleaning our bathroom. I started the laundry and made breakfast. She didn't say a word when she sat down to eat. She ate much faster than normal. She stood up, picked up our 4-year-old, and told our 9-year-old to get ready because they were going to the library. She didn't say anything to our 13-year-old. I told her we need to talk, and she shook her head. I followed her upstairs and insisted that we need to talk. She just kept shaking her head. She went into our 4-year-old's room and locked the door. I went downstairs and told our 13 and 9-year-old that we are going to the dog park. They both asked if Mom was okay, and I said yes and that she needed space. I grabbed some clothes for our 9-year-old from the laundry room, and she got changed in the downstairs bathroom. We are at the dog park, and my wife is refusing to answer my texts. I'm starting to think this isn't about math. Oh my, this is really sad. The situation is completely spun out of control, hasn't it? Parenting is tough, there's no doubt about it, but this one really takes the cake. Now I get the frustration and the pressure cooker atmosphere running in the house. Sick kid, math homework, interrupted flow. It sounds like a scene out of a chaotic sitcom. But at the end of the day, we're all bloody human. And let's be brutally honest here. Your wife, OP, yeah, she dropped the ball, a major slip-up. Emotions boiled over, words were said, and now it feels like someone took a wrecking ball to your family dynamics. But saying you'll lose respect for her if she doesn't apologize? That's adding coal to an already blazing fire. Seriously, communication's spiraled into radio silence now, hasn't it? Your wife's living in a fortress of solitude after what shouldn't have been a global crisis. Isn't it incredible how quickly small things can snowball? For crying out loud, it started with simple math. Now, if you ask me, it seems there's more at play than arithmetic errors. Miscommunication, misplaced pride, maybe a bit of marital frustration? Hell, it's reeks of complex emotions spawning from a simple issue. I know I'm not the only one sensing this saga is about more than multiplication tables. Drop your thoughts below because I need therapy after this. Honestly, enough drama to last a month. A Reddit user says, "A lot of people forget that adults aren't always right and children aren't always wrong. She needs to apologize for snapping at your child." OP responds, I told her that, but she said it has nothing to do with the math problem and that it's about his bad habit of interrupting. I think that since he was trying, and succeeding really, to be helpful, that doesn't count as interrupting. Capital Landscape 492 says, "You're not the a-hole. She should absolutely apologize." Wow. And you were honest when you said that she is going to lose your respect. I always went to apologize when my wife told me to. We are not perfect. But we need to teach our kids that we recognize when we mess up. OP responds, "I really mean it. I understand being frustrated and rattled. We're only human and make mistakes. I've apologized to the children before. If she can't do that, I do respect her less. I love her the same, but respect her less." This next story comes from Unlucky Student in the Am I the A-hole subreddit. And it says, "Am I the a-hole for arguing with my friend at her birthday party after she intentionally separated me from my boyfriend? I, a 21-year-old female, have been dating my 22-year-old male boyfriend for almost 2 years. We're very solid, live together, and usually attend events as a couple. I've never had any serious issues with my female friend, who is also 21, and I've known her since high school. My friend hosted a big 21st birthday party at a rented venue. She invited around 30 people, and I responded with the confirmation for both me and my boyfriend weeks in advance. When we arrived, there were assigned tables. I was seated at a table with my friend and her close friends, while my boyfriend was placed at a completely different table across the room with people he doesn't know. At first, I assumed it was a mistake. I pulled my friend aside and asked about it, and she told me it was intentional. She said she didn't want couples attached at the hip and wanted people to branch out. That sounded fine until I looked around and realized that literally every other couple, including people who had been dating for only a few months, was seated together. When I pointed this out, she admitted she thought my boyfriend would kill the vibe and said I'd be more fun without him around. For context, he is quiet but extremely polite and has never caused any problems at any event. My boyfriend was clearly uncomfortable once he realized everyone else was seated with their partners except him. He tried to brush it off, but I could tell he was embarrassed and confused. I told my friend that deliberately separating us while seating everyone else with their partners was hurtful and unnecessary, along with her comments about him not being fun. She rolled her eyes and told me it was her birthday and I was being dramatic. At that point, I decided not to make a scene, so we stuck around for the rest of the party, but I was kind of quieter than usual for the rest of the night. Since then, my friend has been blowing up my phone saying I ruined her birthday, embarrassed her, and made everything about my relationship. Some mutual friends agree with her and say I should have just stayed quiet for the sake of the party, while others think what she did was mean and intentional. I don't really think I caused that much of a scene, but it is her birthday after all, so I feel bad if other people noticed. I genuinely didn't want to cause drama, but I also didn't want to ignore the issue and leave my boyfriend feeling uncomfortable. Am I the a-hole? I can't even believe this right now. I mean, seriously, what's going on in your friend's head organizing a party like some kind of relationship roulette? You know, I get wanting people to branch out, but this selective seating arrangement smells like baloney. Oh, let me clarify. That's baloney. With a side of, I'm secretly the vibe police. And the worst part is she just straight up decided your boyfriend would kill the vibe. Really? I thought you said he's just quiet, not a buzzkill. And to top it off, she rolled her eyes at your perfectly valid concerns. I mean, for crying out loud, acknowledging feelings isn't being dramatic. It's being, well, human. Now that I think about it, you endured that mess like a champ by not flipping tables. But your friend claiming you ruined her birthday. Come on, that's absolutely ridiculous. Oye, I get it. People have different views on what a party should be, but this was so obviously handled wrong, it's laughable. If you're listening to this, you felt that too, right? Drop your thoughts because I'm quite baffled by all of this. A Reddit user says, "Everyone sucks here, except boyfriend. I truly do not believe she wants your boyfriend at all if she put him at a table somewhere else across the room. If there are instances at this party where she tries to remove you from being with him by telling you to go do things so she can be alone with him, or pulls him to the side without you, then I think that's a totally valid thought to have. I think your friend probably misses just hanging out with you, and you only since you even say you guys usually attend events as a couple. Maybe she just wants to spend time with you and the girls. She says she doesn't want couples attached at the hip, and your reaction probably solidified the belief to her that you guys are attached at the hip. I think your friend probably doesn't know how to bring up the fact that maybe you bring your boyfriend around to things she doesn't want you to bring him to. But also, it's okay to sit at different tables when your friend wants to spend time with you. I think expectations weren't communicated, your friend's fault. I also don't think it was worth going through the trouble to bring your friend to the side during her birthday party because you're not sitting at the same table as your boyfriend. Could have done this after the party. This all seems pretty trivial. If you still want to be friends, just let her cool off and ask her if she thinks you bring him over or are always with him too much, or inquire about the reasoning behind it. OP responds, I just think it's weird that other couples were together and other close friends of ours had their boyfriends there with no issue. We do hang out just the girls outside of events too, but usually in our friend group, it's normal to invite boyfriends to major events like this one. Maybe she does just want to spend more time with me, but I feel like it's more that she doesn't like my boyfriend and thinks he is boring. A Reddit user says, you're not the a-hole, but honestly, I would have left immediately if a friend said something like that about my partner. If she thought he was going to unalive the vibe, she shouldn't have invited him. But then she knew that you would either opt not to come without him or ask about why he wasn't invited, so she hoped she could trick you into coming without having to deal with your boyfriend. That must have been such an awkward party for him. I'm so sorry that he had to sit through an event where it was clear he wasn't wanted, especially since it seems like he's a more quiet and reserved type, which I relate to a lot. OP responds, you're definitely right, and I now regret not leaving the party. I think I am going to apologize to my boyfriend and end that friendship. Our last story comes from Technical Housing 97 in the Redditor Update subreddit, and it says, Update, what happened while my wife was overseas? That was the original post. We're well past that. I have an appointment with a lawyer tomorrow to file for divorce. In my last update, I told people that my wife wasn't coming home, but I still think I can fix things if I give her space. I no longer believe that. Several of you, most of you not very nicely, told me she had abandoned our family. I didn't want to believe it, but you are right. I picked my sister up from the airport this morning, and we had a long conversation where she filled in details. When my wife, her sister, my sister, and her wife got to the resort, everything was fine at first. It didn't take long for my wife's sister to show her true colors, though. She called my sister a derogatory term and another offensive word. She called my sister's wife another derogatory term as well. So that caused a huge fight. My wife cursed out her sister, and rightfully so. She moved into the room my sister was sharing with her wife to get away from her sister. My wife told my sister more about the situation with the kids. She said she feels like she failed our oldest, and he is completely beyond help. She said he is so disrespectful and obnoxious, and she doesn't understand how she let it get to this point. Our son, by the way, made his little siblings breakfast and played Monopoly with them, while I was up crazy early picking my sister and her wife up from the airport. Evil child, clearly. My sister told my wife our oldest is just a teenager and that she is attaching significance to really insignificant things. My sister said teenagers are all annoying, but it isn't the end of the world. My wife said her dad wouldn't put up with that kind of behavior. My sister pointed out that her dad raised her sister, who goes around calling people derogatory names. My wife said that was her husband's influence, which, whatever. My wife also said she thinks our daughter is not very smart. My sister was shocked to hear that. Our daughter's academic performance at school is average. Most kids are average. That's what average means. She isn't unintelligent. She's normal. My wife talked about a startup in California an old classmate of hers is going to work for. They do work she really believes in. She said she wanted to move to California to work for them, and also so our youngest will be closer to a particular allergy clinic. My sister tried to tell her that is all unrealistic, but that didn't work since my wife is currently on her way to California. Or maybe she already landed. I'm not sure. My sister is angry with my wife and doesn't ever want to talk to her again. They have always been close friends, so that really brought home to me how insane her behavior is. My sister thinks she is lying about having the job, too. She thinks my wife is planning to apply in California and that no job offer has been made yet. I wouldn't believe that if not for her previous lie about her current job. To protect myself, I opened a new bank account and switched my direct deposit. I also prepaid a lot of things that get paid from the joint account, so she can't drain it and leave us in a bad spot. I opened a new account specifically for the mortgage, transferred 6 payments into it, and put that on autopay. I won't use it for anything else. I bought a bunch of gift cards from the grocery store we use as well, so if she does drain the account, we'll be able to buy food. I prepaid the daycare, school fees, and activity fees for the kids as far as possible. I paid off and closed our joint cards. She still has her personal cards, and I still have mine. This is going to be messy as hell, and I am not looking forward to it. The worst thing is that the kids are sad their mom isn't coming home. Of course, I didn't tell them what she said about them. Our oldest thinks she went to California to hang out with other cool people because we aren't cool enough for her. I told him that isn't true, but he doesn't believe me. I'm just devastated by all this. The person I'm supposed to be able to rely on abandoned me. Someone says, "You will be fine. You will be scared for the first 2 or 3 months, sure. But like you said in a previous post, you are doing fine without her. Once you get rid of the stress this relationship brings you, you will realize how good all this is for you and your kids." Okay, it's sad and you used to love her, but the happiness and stress-free life you are gaining now is worth it. OP responds, "I think happy is a stretch. I never thought I would be single again. I don't want to be alone. If the kids can be happy though, that will be enough." I swear, I've read a lot of crazy stories, but this one really takes the cake, right? Oh, and another thing. Bloody hell, folks. This just gets my blood boiling. Can you even begin to imagine what it's like watching your family life unravel in front of you, like a bloody screenplay no one bothered to edit? This situation is absurdly tragic, and it feels like I'm watching a tragicomedy with no bloody punchline. The emotional roller coaster this poor chap must be experiencing is just beyond words. Chaos at its finest, anyone? Now, since we've reached the end of this hellish tale, you absolutely must share your thoughts below. I can't be the only one who needs a digital therapy session after that tale. Leave some comments. I need to see if we all think this whole situation is just absurdly catastrophic. And listen, if you've got the emotional bandwidth for more, go ahead and check out another video. You know you want to see what else is wild and mind-boggling out there. Honestly, get comfy, click another video because these stories aren't getting any less shocking, and we are here for the cathartic ride. Man, it's just, I don't even know anymore. Stay tuned.